Hello, everyone. Hope you all are in the best of your health and spirits. We are all set for yet another exciting conversation today. For our new audiences today, the We Talk series brings to you the most sought after voices from the industry and for the industry who share their valuable insights with us over a brief conversation about what's going on in the HR ecosystem, what's new to come, and most importantly, what's keeping HR leaders on their toes. So today we have a very special guest joining us. Please join me in welcoming her. She is Anshula Verma, Director and Recruitment Leader, EY India. Anshula is a senior talent acquisition leader with over 23 years of experience in the areas of talent acquisition, talent management, and talent strategy. Anshula specializes in TA transformation, creating high growth strategy, and implementing systems and processes that increase efficiency as well as experience for candidates and hiring managers. Well, she thrives on building world class teams to evolve talent acquisition and enable workforce of the future. Her passion for artificial intelligence and technology drives her to stay abreast with the latest trend in data analytics and its impact on management. With that, a very warm welcome, Anshula. It is indeed a pleasure to have with us today.
Thank you, Vaisakhi. Thank you so much. I'm super delighted to be here. I think this is my second series or third, talk series, and I'm every time, I go back with a lot of learning from here.
Same here. We are also looking forward to some insightful sessions today. So to start off with today's discussion, my first question for you would be if you could highlight that, how is your industry tackling the workplace changes over the past couple of years? What's your take on that?
So Vaisakhi, consulting is a slightly peculiar industry in a way because consulting is it is all client-facing industry. So we work across sectors and across competencies and we don't have boxes to sell, right? We don't have a product to sell. So people are our products and therefore you have to stay abreast to be able to impress your clients and to be able to land the business and do the best of the jobs for us. I think if I have to really scientifically answer the question that you've asked, there are three areas I would say where we have really seen a much larger impact or a change. Even if it is not a positive change, there was a change. The first, the three areas, let me just list down quickly. The three areas are digital transformation and transitioning to hybrid working model. The second is attracting and retaining new talent. And the third is becoming crisis ready in the unstable business environment. I think these three things have really put us on our toes, especially in the consulting environment. We have never seen this sort of digital transformation, not only for our clients, but also for ourselves. It was a whole lot of change management that we had to do when we moved from the Excel sheets to now doing even the smallest of the bit through Power BIs and digitally and a fully automated way. And then bringing people back to the to the hybrid working or to working from home from office is something which is a big task that the HR has today. Because the clients wants to see the people back. You can't just work from home anymore. Then attracting and retaining talent, always a problem. Always the priority for the talent acquisition to say where you get the right people and how do you keep them with you. The market continues to be volatile. And the third is becoming crisis ready because, every time our clients goes through a change, we have to invariably go through a change. You don't have a choice. If they are going through the ups, we are happy. If they're going through the downs, we go down with them. So you have to really breathe the air that they are breathing. And I think these are the three areas which have been very, very interestingly engaging for us and are really giving us sleepless nights, if I can say so.
Very well mentioned, and especially I can understand, with the complete, change in the work ecosystem for the past 2 years. I guess it's more than 2 years now. So It has definitely been a very whirlwind situation for the entire HR ecosystem in general. So, since you have highlighted the pertinent topics that is kind of, as you say, keeping the HRs awake at night. So could you also throw some light on your D and I agenda that you are currently following for your organization?
So DEI, Vaisakhi, is one, of course, it's a very, very important agenda because it's a global agenda. We do have, like any other global organization, we have targets, to fulfill. And India, and I'm sure a lot of my industry friends and stalwarts will agree with that. India has a diversity in the population, the working population. So however much you put in the efforts, it is a constant struggle. But nevertheless, I think we are looking much, much better as compared to the last 4-5 years where we were. And so that is one. But I'm not particularly going to talk about the targets and because of which we are driving DEI. I think DEI is a very passionate agenda for EY. And DEI for us is divided into two parts. One is the women hiring. There is a whole lot of focus on women hiring, and the much focus is required to actually put impetus on hiring manager and above roles, because that's where your working population diminishes. So there is a separate strategy that we have for attracting women candidates, for manager and above or assistant manager and above levels, which is typically about 4-5 years of experience, going up to about 12 to 13 years of experience and above. The second agenda is the people with physical disabilities, the PWD. That is something which, we are truly passionate about, and we don't want to do a check in the box for that. We truly want to drive it. And that is what we're doing. And the third is the very focused hiring for LGBTQ plus, community. And that is something which is, I would say, most tricky right now for us, because there is, we don't, without isolating, anybody, we do want to reach out from the bottom of our heart to say, please come up and apply. And we've had moderate success, I would say, so far. I am personally connected with a lot of people who reached out to me on LinkedIn, and we totally appreciate that. It's personal, it's sensitive, and we've been able to manage that sensitivity for them. So right from, and if I have to really tell you in these three areas, how we have progressed, right from engaging with the right set of either search firms or NGOs or the other institutions and bodies which are available in the market who are actually doing very, very impactful work already. So we are engaging with them because obviously we understand that this is not where our expertise lie. We need help, and we are taking that help from the extended arms. To about making our presence felt on the social media, because that's a powerful platform, for everybody to see that we are totally there. We want to embrace, this change, which is going to come in a big, big way. It's going to be a big wave, and we want to be a part of it, like totally, truly from our heart. So we're doing a lot of social media presence. Third is we want to do a value proposition. So each role, Vaisakhi, we have a value proposition that we want to call out for our candidates, for them to know what are they signing up for. Why should they join EY? I mean, everybody is doing all of this. I'm not saying anything which is a rocket science over here. I'm not saying anything which just stands out to say, oh, wow, this has never happened in India. So why should they come to us?
Yeah.
Why not to anyone else? So I think calling out the value proposition one-on-one to let them know what is it in for them if they join EY vis-a-vis any other organization is something which we are training people to do. There is a neurodiverse talent that we are onboarding right now, and there is also a training that we're giving to our own people, because when you actually employ people with disabilities, more than them, we need to be trained how we should manage them, how we should be with them, so that they don't feel isolated.
Yeah.
Right. So all of that and much more. I can really talk on this.
No, it's it's amazing, Anshula, to see how organizations are gradually, moving beyond the set patterns that have been in the game for so long, and organizations are actually putting in a lot of efforts to actually bringing that impact, like walking the talk actually. So it's definitely great to see those initiatives actually coming into place. So moving on, we have you have already mentioned about hiring women forces, and also we have talked about how the hiring pattern has changed over the past few years, which brings us to the point talking about the new generation, the Gen Z. So, what is your take on the new generation entering the workforce? And most importantly, how do their expectations differ from those of the previous generation? So, what's your catch on that?
Very interesting question. I have two children of my own, 24 and 19. So you can very well imagine. I have a very, very personal brush of my own in terms of trying to understand Gen Z. Just to answer your question, I think so. We hire a very large population from campuses every year. And there is a sea change, a paradigm shift that we have seen from the generation 3 years ago and the generation now. As much as they are digitally technical savvy, they also look for something really different. And now when I don't want to be saying cliched different, they are different in the sense that they look more for experiences. Okay. So if I have to go with them with a job description, in our time, we used to get a job description whenever there is a new opportunity coming up, and you read the job description and then you go for an interview, and then, obviously you answer some questions and you come back. I don't think that formula works with Gen Z. They want to know what are the experiences you're going to give. What are the rotation, IJP opportunities that you have? What is the cross-border opportunities that you have? What sort of career progression that you will give? Imagine, I can't imagine myself, a 24 myself, asking this sort of a question, say, where would I reach in 5 years? Exactly. In fact, the interviewer will ask me, where do I see myself after 5 years? Right. As a candidate, I would never ask this question, right? And these are the questions that the new generation is asking. They say, what can you do for me? What kind of experiences, what kind of career progression will you give to me? Compensation comes last. Mm-hmm. And that is also because I think they are confident of their competency. So they are very sure that they will be able to command the compensation that they deserve. Mm-hmm. So they are not somebody who are very overtly, so they're not somebody who would probably say, I have to run my families, whatever you give me, it's okay. They do want to call the shots and say, first you tell me what the role is. Mm-hmm. First you tell me what is the working environment. Do you have parking? What floor am I going to sit? Am I going to sit, in a common bay area? What sort of facilities do you have? What is the cafeteria looking like? What are your policies on climate change, sustainability? What are you doing for this? What are your CSR opportunity strategies? What are you giving back to the society? I mean, unheard of, Vaisakhi, unheard of from, by a generation like me. I'm 20 plus years in the industry. I haven't seen that happen ever. Newcomers, the young generation, 22, 24, 25 years old, people asking me this question to say, okay, tell me what are some of the things that you are doing for the societies? And you will not believe the first time anybody asked me that question, I took 2 minutes because I was not prepared to answer. I mean, I've not listed down things. Of course, I know what all we do, but I took a moment to sort of list down the 4-5 things that we actually do under our CSR activities. But I was delighted, So they are an OTT generation. They know what is happening in the US and the UK and the Europe and the APACs and everywhere. But they do want to know what's going to happen for them. Where is their future lying? What do they want to do? And I think that clarity of thought is amazing to see.
It's a major shift. What we can understand is a major shift with the new generation. Talking about this, I'm sure that, being in this space for more than 20 years, there have been times when you have been encountered with challenges, right? So I would like to ask you, can you share some of the most prominent challenges, irrespective of generation or situation, that you have faced in the talent acquisition space? And most importantly, what was your strategies to, overcome those particular set of challenges? If you can just walk through with that.
So I would say there are two challenges. One is the organizational challenge and the other one is a candidate market challenge. Or individual candidate ethics challenge. Mm-hmm. The organizational challenge is, of course, the availability of talent. So in consulting, what happens is, we need people with a very deep sector focus. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, you do get competency. So if I'm looking for a technical competency, or if I'm looking for for a strategic or a functional expert, I may still get that. But if I'm looking for a functional expert from a banking domain, for example, or an automotive domain, or an oil and gas domain, Now that becomes very, very niche in a way. And because we are consulting professionals, the clients do not compromise with the generalists. They do want people to come from the experts, from the real background of that particular sector that they want the people to come and work with them. So sometimes that becomes a challenge because most of the people, even in Big Fours, by the way, people are generalists. They're more of generalists and less of specialists in that sense because they move around sectors and and they have their core competency in one or two of the technologies, but the sectors, they will just move around various sectors. So sometimes that becomes a challenge. And for that, we do extensive research, we create bench strengths, we keep our eyes and ears open, and we have our database of our own to be able to create backups for any urgent projects that come up. We also do a lot of upskilling internally for the people to make them experts as much as they are the generalists for us, because we know, they will struggle with the client and the client will struggle with us. So that's the organizational part of it. The other is on the ethics side. I thought it will change with time. I thought it's because the market has developed very differently in the last 2 years of pandemic is why, the fake candidates, the whole racket of, organizations, there's these search firms and some of these fake organizations running this whole racket of, producing fake candidates and trying to place them, forge their documents, forge the candidate. There's somebody else coming for the impersonation, somebody else coming for the interview and somebody else joining.
Yeah.
And the organizations taking money from the candidates and then, on a wrong pretext, they are placing them and giving them false offer letters. All of that I thought is going to go away. But for some reason, unfortunately, it isn't. And that is something which is very, very bothering. Now we have, of course, we struggled for good 1.5 years. We struggled. We also recruited quite a few of these people, and it was very sad. Even for the candidates, it was very sad because they were placed by agencies on the pretext of that. We will get you, and they were given they had paid the huge amounts, and then we had to ask them to go. But unfortunately, that was the case. So we have put a lot of digital checks and balances, which manages this part of the deal. The candidate ghosting is another thing that we are still struggling with, although the market has stabilized, the candidate market has stabilized a lot, but you still have candidates who take your offer and will probably not end up joining you. We do have dedicated teams who stay in touch with the candidates. We also do a lot of behavioral interviewing at the time of HR round to understand the real intent of the candidate while they come for an interview, but there's just that much that you can do. We were still in that phase of facing the candidate ghosting, where they take our offer, they do not turn up for joining, or they reach the final round and then they just stop responding. So I think those are some of the things the industry, I think, is still grappling with. Let's hope things change for the best.
I mean, there are still areas that needs to be taken care of, and I believe we have some ways to go now also from here. So that brings me to the last question that I have for you, Anshula. So I would like to know if you could shed some light on your employer branding strategy, and most importantly, how it has evolved over the past few years.
Well, I think for an industry like ours, or automotive, for example, or energy, these are conventional industries.
Yeah.
Not a very high-tech industry, not something who would try to adapt any change proactively. In fact, I would say we are slightly delayed in adapting anything which is brand new in the market, because we want to first do, we want to just test the waters first.
Yeah.
So it took us some time to understand that social media can be a very powerful medium for us to reach out to the right set of people, because we always used to feel that we probably will attract negative attention more than we'll attract the positive attention if we go to the social media asking for the candidates or trying to hire through the social media. So I think now after all these years, we have a complete social media strategy not only for employer branding, which is overall for the organization, but also to hire from from social media. So in terms of putting up our value proposition, putting up our positions over there, what do we do? What do we do right? What sort of clients we work for? All of this used to be a confidential information we would not put up on social media, but we realized that this is important for the candidates to be able to make a decision and apply to us. So that is one. There is a lot of the second important aspect is employee advocacy. A lot of our employees are social influencers, on Instagram, on YouTube. They're YouTubers. They have a big presence on Glassdoors, the likes of Glassdoors and Ambition Box now, the new platform that Naukri has launched. So we felt that, and they have some very good things to say. And we actually realized that on Glassdoor, a lot of opinions, and sometimes mostly negative, when they were coming for the organizations, these employees, our own people, were going there and countering that already. They were just putting the counter and a positive statement against that. And we realized that this is such a brilliant thing to do. And they're not soliciting that. They truly feel proud to be a part of the organization. And that's why they're writing what they're writing. So we thought this is something we can use very effectively. So employee advocacy is another big thing. And third is creating personal brand. So Vaisakhi, we all internally are encouraging our employees to create their personal brand, each and every employee to create their personal brand. So right from being a part of various forums to enhance your knowledge as a participant, to being a speaker, whether it is in the colleges or in the forums for HR people, the NHRDs and SHRMs and various other forums. I think there are a lot of our people, and earlier it used to be the foray of only our partners. Only our partners would go and be a part of, on big forums, and they will sit in their directorships and adcoms and all. But now we're encouraging our employees also to do that, and that's working beautifully. There is nothing better, when your people talk for you and their personal brand talk for the overall brand of the organization. So I think these are a few things which are different from the vanilla branding that you would typically see organizations do.
Amazing. I personally believe that, as I've mentioned, employee branding is a different game altogether, stepping aside the vanilla branding that, we have been doing over the years. So this brings us to the end of our conversation today. Thank you so much, Anshula, for sharing this amazing insights. I absolutely loved conversing with you, and I'm sure our viewers resonated with it too. So thank you once again for being with us today, for taking our time. And we will be back with yet another exciting conversations next week. So till then, all of you stay safe and have a great time ahead.